All right.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah. Back in the Heimer.
Well, hello, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Jacob.
And this is the Heimer.
Yes, here we are with our great team helping us out. You don't even see him.
You don't see him. Yeah, you just never see him.
We got Schmidt. We've got
such a great help. Good help.
We've got some friends. We've got Oliver producing the videos.
Yeah.
Not producing, editing.
Editing.
Is the right word, I guess.
Editing, posting.
Yeah. So, all right, what do we got today?
Well, I guess we're going to continue our topic a little bit from last time. So we kind of barely touched on survival skills, kind of said it at the end there. We're really going to get into survival skills now.
Yes, good. So important. Mostly we don't know how to do it.
We don't know how to do it. Nobody knows how to.
Yeah,
there are
me included. I mean,
yeah. And there's some bushcraft people out there that
yeah.
read some books, probably watch some YouTube videos, but yeah, I think for the most part, survival skills is a lost skill.
Yeah, yeah. Well, or parts of the world, people are living in fairly primitive. If that's probably an offensive word now, I don't know, but like simple ways.
It's true. Yeah.
And I don't know. They might be, going back to our very first episode, they might be happier in certain ways too.
That's true.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what happiness is.
Yeah. I'm getting off track a little bit here, but I love the mood of this camper and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cozy.
It's very cozy. I love that we're at a campsite right now.
Yeah. Have you noticed the curtains?
Yeah, the curtains are lovely, and again with the help that we've had, around.
Yeah.
These curtains were. Oh.
What? Who's here?
When we're at
Hello?
a campsite.
See, maybe just open the door.
Open it.
There.
Who's that?
Who is that?
Hey!
Oh
Hey!
my gosh!
Hi.
Oh.
Come on in here. Come
How
on
are you
in
guys?
Here. Good. What are you doing here?
I was just walking by and I ran into Schmidt and he told me you guys are doing a podcast on survival skills.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
Schmidt. Schmidt comes.
Oh, we can ask all sorts of questions
All
here.
sorts of survival.
We can get to the bottom of some of this stuff. All right.
So we were just talking about how survival skills for maybe first world countries is a lost skill, and maybe even third world countries not so much anymore, these skills.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But I guess when I think of survival skills, I think of Boy Scouts often.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, have you had any experience with practicing those kinds of things?
Somewhat. Like I've been backpacking with John before,
Yeah.
but he's kind of the expert. I'm just along for the ride a lot of the time.
Wait, you guys know each other?
Yeah, we're married.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fairly well, yeah.
We left that out of the introduction.
We actually just got back from a backpacking trip in Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit in the last episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
brought that up. So when we're on this backpacking trip and you were trying to survive out there, what's some of the things you've learned how to survive?
I learned that you need the right shoes and socks.
Ooh, that's important. I didn't
Yeah.
think about that.
They
Yeah.
often get very wet, so it's nice to have more than one pair of socks. Also, it's good to have the right tools to get fresh water, because you can't just drink water out of the pond. You have to be able to filter it.
Water is very important, and I think that's one of the things we take for granted nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
right at the faucet, you turn it on, but when you're out there, we had these filters that you'd put on the end of a water bottle, and it took forever to filter that water.
Yeah.
You're hand pumping?
There are
through,
hand
or-
pumps, but this was like a squeeze thing.
Uh-huh.
Which was nice because then you don't have to carry all of that water in your backpack and you have access to all this water.
But if you are thirsty, man, there's no like you gulping water. It's just a slow little you feel like a hamster in a cage.
It was nice and cold though.
That's true. We got it right from the stream, nice and cold.
Yeah.
What do you happen to remember the name of that company or the filter?
Sawyer.
Okay.
Sawyer Squeeze, I believe.
Okay. All right. A little support for them.
Yeah.
All right. How about like building fire? How do you feel with?
We actually didn't. I mean, we did build a fire just for fun one night, but we used packs of food where you could just heat up your water and then put it right into it, and it makes a meal right there.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever built a fire before?
Just now I did.
How did that go?
Under the
Lacey
camper?
and Oliver and I were building a fire just about 10 minutes ago.
Did you learn anything?
Well, from watching you, I knew to make sure that there was air on the fire, so I was waving a
that's
book
good,
over
yep.
it. It was going out often, so we kept having to feed the fire with more
Mm-hmm.
debris of sticks, smaller sticks.
So how did so smaller sticks, anything
Yeah.
else on how to actually build the...
We started with smaller sticks in a pyramid shape, and then we put some paper and smaller twigs underneath, and then we put a couple logs on top. And that system worked pretty well.
Isn't it something, Mackenzie, to think about, like, if you were just truly out in the wild, like on your own, or John, if you want to chime in, I mean, like, what if it had been raining or whatever, like,
Right.
how do you actually start a fire?
And we
when
were
you have
using
to-
a lighter.
Right, right.
We wouldn't have that.
Yeah, we're in a cushy campground,
Right.
people around and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty intense trying to make a fire with wet wood and just scratching sticks together.
I
Yeah.
think you'd have to build some sort of shelter that has like a fireplace in it. If you really wanted to survive out there, there's got to be some sort of shelter for the fire.
Yeah.
And shelter for the wood as well, so the wood isn't always wet. That's like long term, but if you're just out there for a night,
Yeah.
you're not building a fire.
Right.
One of the books I read with children often is My Side of the Mountain, and in it the main character, it's a fictional story, but the main character builds something out of clay. He just gets clay out of the creek bed and crafts. It's very small, the way it's described, a little tiny, it doesn't take much, a little oven sort of thing. The first time he lights it, he doesn't have it vented. He's a kid, so he just smokes out everything. It's a big disaster. But then he knows to vent it. He learns from his mistake, and then he actually survives a upstate New York winter with this little fire.
Yeah. Man, I bet mistakes are a big part of surviving. And
Yeah.
hopefully it's not a big mistake.
Yeah, and you learn quick too, right?
Right, yeah.
Oh, my wood is wet now, so next time keep it dry.
Yeah. Same with how about like medicine? Think about the experimentation within our species of figuring out medicine. That's a tough learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or even what food is safe to eat.
Yeah. I mean, have you guys ever felt like super hungry? Have you ever gone like more than 2 days without eating?
No.
No, I couldn't go 8 hours.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been truly hungry.
No, I haven't. And if I was, like, for the most part, I love animals. I don't think I could ever kill an animal. But after 8 hours of not eating, well, maybe even 4 hours, I get a little hangry. I really think I could probably just eat a squirrel.
Uh-huh. Funny that you mentioned squirrels.
We currently have a squirrel in our chimney.
Yeah.
Don't try to catch a squirrel, John. I can't imagine wrestling with a squirrel.
Oh,
I think you'd
yeah.
be better off with a bear than a squirrel. Than his teeth.
Well, I'll let you guys keep talking. I better go catch up with Schmidt.
All right.
Thanks
Oh,
for
okay.
letting me
sure.
join your conversation.
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
see a lot of smoke out there. They might
Yeah,
help
I
with the
better
tend to that
fire.
fire. Yeah.
Thanks for stopping
joining
in.
us.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna
Oh.
shift back to your.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Well, it's nice of her to stop in and
That was great.
share some thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, like, to kind of keep rolling with this a little bit, John, like, would you ever consider doing a little bit of a longer fast? Like, say, a 2-day straight
No,
fast?
that's never
No.
crossed my
No.
mind. What are some benefits of that, Jacob?
Well, it's very popular as far as cleansing and possibly dieting and stuff right now. Lots of people are fasting in various ways.
It's that fasting where you stop eating after like 6 and you don't eat until like 9 the next day.
Yes, intermittent.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even think I could do that.
Yeah. Or well, I think about our Muslim brothers and sisters that, like, I think it's usually during Ramadan that you fast. You mostly fast just during the days. So, but like once the sun goes down, like it just did here, often there's quite a bit of heavy eating.
Yeah.
So there's all these different types. I understand that's for religious reasons, but yeah. So no interest in fasting.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I mean, the only thing I'm not for like any sort of health reasons, but I'd be a little interested for psychological reasons. Like, I think it might be good for me to know a little bit or have some inkling of what it's like to really be hungry at one time in my life.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never thought about it like that.
It might. I feel like it could make me more thankful the rest of my life to go a couple days without eating. But I don't know. It can also be dangerous. I mean, there's some people that might be just 3 or 4 days away from not surviving if they, they're maybe their diet's so low in nutrients or whatever. So
yeah, something to be careful with. Maybe just a day.
Yeah, really a day would have a big impact. Yeah, about half a day.
Yeah.
My
life has changed. I've been eating for 12 hours.
Yeah. This is why, like, Oliver and I are camping in this camper tonight with electricity. We've been cooking on a gas stove. Like, everything's so cushy. Would you ever, so we're thinking about survival and survival skills. Would you ever be interested in doing kind of like Outward Bound does with folks, but like basically being dropped? Like, would you ever want me to drive you into the Hoosier National Forest, which is right on the other side of the lake we're camping at here, and drop you with like a bag of sunflower seeds, a pocket knife, and a jug of water, and drop you for like 2 days or something like that?
Yes, I think that would be fun. I think I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sunflower seeds.
They could be salted if you wanted.
That'd be better, yeah. Well, yeah, I think I could probably do that. I mean, again, the hunger would probably be the hardest part for me. Now, this is a you come and get me at the end of 2 days thing. It's not like me get lost trying to find my way back somewhere.
Right, I think it would be pretty stationary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, what do you think? What do you think about, like, the future of the world? This is a much bigger discussion, but do you think that some point in our future as humans, as Homo sapiens, that, like, you or your children or your grandchildren might really need to know all these survival skills again? Or do you think that, like, it's kind of like we're past that point, we're either going to all just die, or, do you think like, yeah, do you think like schools should be teaching survival skills, for example? Like, is this something fundamental that we all need to know, or is it sort of a fringe idea, or?
Yeah, maybe not. I think for the most part, it's schools should teach it just to get kids out into nature and maybe appreciate the beauty of nature more, and being interactive with nature, like trying to survive in nature. You kind of learn that to, I guess, be thankful for what you have and what you can make for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's a good lesson to learn. Actual survival skills like how to stitch a wound, like those extreme survival skills. I don't know, probably not.
Yeah, maybe it's the kind of stuff that it's good to have a little bit of, for most of us, to have a little bit of book knowledge for some of those things, just to have like some little bit of a chance if you're in a bad situation quick, that you might think, like, I don't know what it's a good, well, like, so I was in the Army, and I remember they taught us for all the first aid stuff how to tie a tourniquet. So basically, when somebody was going to be losing a limb, you had to do on another. We practice on another soldier, and then you had to learn how to do it one on yourself, where you're basically forfeiting an arm or a leg. You're assuming you're losing it, and you just need to stop the bleeding otherwise. And now I hear that that's not taught anymore. Like the tourniquet, the idea of applying a tourniquet is not taught, at least with Red Cross and stuff like that. So
They have these. Well, I don't know about the Army, but you're saying they don't teach that in the Army?
well, I'm not sure, but I think I've heard that they stopped. That's considered not a good method anymore. Not sure.
Maybe because it's just too tight, and you maybe even lose your whole arm. Then maybe there's a better chance of keeping your arm if the tourniquet's not there. I don't know.
And maybe they have different equipment in the med kits or something now. I'm not sure.
I have heard of these like patches. For like, I guess that would be for chest wounds, and
Well, yeah. Well,
so maybe they have something that would be similar for your arms or legs or something that you would in place of a tourniquet.
yeah. Would you have, like, how do you feel equipped for dealing with like a medical emergency? You know, we're thinking about survival skills, but obviously health is a huge part of that. And like, so just in general, like if you see somebody having a heart attack, do you feel somewhat like you know what to do, or?
No.
Yeah.
I guess get help. I know how to get help.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, for the most part, people teach is how to get somebody help.
Yeah.
And similar to surviving in the wilderness, it's how to get help while you're out there. It's how to make sure you have a flare, make sure you have a signal mirror or bright colored clothing, how to make yourself visible out there, how to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the stuff that maybe they should teach. And I think they do teach, but it's actually being out there for an extended period of time that maybe isn't so much necessary anymore.
Yeah, maybe that's been a real shift. I don't know. Yeah. Well, you know, we also just sort of generally lack the toughness of, you know, even if your health is totally fine and stuff, like mentally, we don't have the toughness largely to say walk 25 miles in that direction with nothing, you know, nothing at all. Like, you know, and just generally we don't, you know, we kind of have this sort of give up kind of mentality a lot of times.
Definitely. I mean, that comes out, if you're just even working out, your mind gives up before your body gives up.
Yeah.
And so, for the most part, when you're doing these things, it's all a mental game.
Yeah.
When you're running, I used to run a lot. Like when you get past that 4 mile mark, that's when it's all mental. It's like your body has already given up, but it's all mental state at that point. And if you can overcome that, you can just keep running forever.
Yeah.
Obviously there is a point where your body will physically give up, but
Sure,
it's a lot longer than 4 miles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wonder what it is about. I wonder why our brains we
so
allow
weak.
it. Yeah. Just because we don't have the experience, maybe, right? We don't have a need. Is it because we don't have a need to be able to do these things, or?
Yeah, maybe there's got to be some sort of motivating factor, like your brain's asking another part of your brain, why are you pushing your body like this?
Yeah.
Just give up. There's no reason to keep doing this.
Yeah. 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 Well.
And when you're out in the forest, there's no reason to keep surviving out here. Just go home.
Yeah. Right. It's too easy to get out of anything, kind of. And, yeah. Well, do you have? I'm changing the subject a tad. Do you know of any like cool tricks or survival skills that are like kind of specialized that you think could help other people, or you've read about, you've wondered about, or?
That's a great question. One that I learned recently was when you don't have, when you can't really find small tinder for a fire, that you can almost create, I'm going to call it a Christmas tree. So you take a larger branch, inch or more in diameter, and you kind of carve it down and create little mini curly branches off of it.
Huh.
And then as you get towards, I guess, your fingers as you're holding it, so you're getting up and up, you do smaller and smaller. And so you almost cut these like really fine fibers right here at the base of it, and then they're larger as you go up the tree, we'll say. And then it's those fine fibers that you can light on fire. And once those actually catch, it almost catches the next level of branches on fire.
Yeah.
And so they're thicker and thicker, and then you just got this like flaming tree you have in your hand that you can then start a bigger fire with.
Huh. Cool. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That would be really cool to try. You never tried that.
I haven't tried it.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
Did you say, or did I think this? Did you say pine? Did you say a type of wood?
No.
Okay.
Dried, something dry.
Just dry. Yeah.
Pine would be good because it's probably easily carvable.
Yeah.
It's not like a hard ash, hickory.
Maybe you get some sap. Sap is fairly flammable, isn't it?
Yeah, the sugars in it are
Yeah.
lots of energy there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I never heard that one. Yeah. One I heard about recently was the wild grapevine, which is common in the Midwest. You know those vines that get pretty big. You know,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you swing on them a little bit. They can kill a pretty big tree. You know, over time.
Yeah.
Well, they hold a high water content, and like if you particularly find a curve of one, you can take one and bend it like this, but if there's enough of them where you can just find one that's looped like a U, and you just slice the bottom of that and it'll start dripping like quite a bit. Like it'll be, I mean, I've actually done this trick where it's more than a drop, it's like a stream of water coming out.
All the water kind of collects at the bottom of that loop.
Yeah. And you can like get a whole
Did you
cup
drink
of
it?
water.
you try it?
Yeah, I mean, I
sipped it?
Yeah, I kind of tasted a little bit, and it just tasted like water. I mean, there was no taste.
Huh.
And
No sweetness or anything?
no, no. Yeah, you'd think there could be a tad bit of sweetness. It might vary a little bit, but we did tap a walnut tree just a couple weeks ago. We were tapping sugar.
You could tap a walnut tree.
Well, nobody's ever done that.
Well, how did it turn out?
Well, so we had a couple sugar. To be honest, I don't know if they were. You don't have to get maple syrup from sugar maples. It's just the easiest one.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it from red or silver maples too. We had a couple maple trees, and we were tapping those, and it was, right out of the tree and not boiled down or anything. Pretty sweet. The water was pretty sweet, just like that. So we can go over to the walnut tree, 5 feet away. Let's give this a try. And we gave it a try, and it had some sweetness to it, but it also had a little bit of that muskiness of walnuts and the hulls.
Like the actual nut taste, it almost?
Kind of the nut, yes. And, the walnut tree is very, it's got a natural herbicide, so that's why you almost see nothing growing underneath walnut trees or near them, because the hull around the walnut, when it, dissipates into the ground, it just kills any weeds or anything pretty much.
Oh, interesting.
Except for grass. Well, our family has a walnut grove. We planted 700 walnut trees when I was 13.
What do you do with that? Do you actually pick and sell?
No, the idea is for timber. Because walnut wood is worth quite. You're a woodworker.
Very expensive stuff. Yeah.
So in 20 years or something, we might have quite a bit of money we could make. But we're, of course, I'm getting off track here. We're, of course, worried about. We're suddenly not sure we want to cut down this beautiful grove we've been nurturing. Anyway, that's a different subject. But we got water and or sap, I should say, out of the walnut tree, and we didn't boil it down or anything, and we don't know. But I think you could make some sort of syrup out of it that might be decent.
You should try that.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have almost like a nutty taste. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe you'd have that kind of walnutty taste to your syrup.
Yeah. And some people, I mean, a lot of people, do you like black walnuts? The taste of black
I
walnuts?
do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it, John. Gosh, that's how I know you've got a great soul. This is like, there's a very tangible reason, that you're so great, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people, it's too, like, a little bitter and it's a little bit intense.
It's unique. Yeah, there's a unique flavor to it.
Yeah. So most people just eat the English walnut, a little bland.
No, so bland.
Yeah, not much to it. But anyway, I'd love to know like all those tricks about eating in the wild, like dandelions and wild onion, wild garlic, and all the nuts. I feel like I know like those kinds of things. I could sort of live off maybe a week or something.
Well, I think it would be neat, and I also think I don't know anything about growing some sort of vegetable garden either, and then specifically how to grow a vegetable garden when you're out in the wild.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's probably pretty easy when you're at your home and you have a water source and such, but if you really wanted to like survive out there for years, we'll say, and you wanted to plant some sort of garden to help you eat, and how do you survive through winter when you're I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's all sorts of ways people are making it by. I mean, I think, we'll have to see. I think we have a series of episodes. I don't know if it'll be a series, but I know one of the things we're wanting to talk about coming up is homelessness and how people survive.
Like when you don't. So we talked a lot about being out in the wilderness, but we always have a place to go at the end of that. Yeah. Homeless don't have a place to go. They have to survive out there. Yeah.
But so there's some very innovative things folks are doing, partly because they have to, but also, I mean, there are a lot of great minds out there that are homeless, and one of which is like guerrilla planting, so people who plant edibles where they're not allowed to, they plant them along alleys and behind buildings, and
they make their own little garden.
Well, it's like an edible path. Like you can walk through urban areas, and if you cultured it right, you can eat a meal walking for a mile through your town. Which is a almost a revolutionary idea.
That's, I mean, not just for the homeless, but just what if we just had edible paths?
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. It'd be great.
I think you pick a salad on the way to a picnic or something.
Sure. You could even get real technical almost about it and have your, think about all your amino acids, make sure you're getting the complete proteins then, balanced, you could get all into that. It'd be kind of neat.
Man, that would be super neat. So you have you have all that, but then you also kind of plan different areas of the path on what maybe meals you can make out of each grouping of things.
Yeah.
They could have like little built-in signs like, hey, you can make this meal out of these ingredients. Go pick them. Go to this park. There's a fire pit there. Build yourself a fire.
Ah, cool.
Have a stew or something.
Yeah. That would be a neat... Maybe this is too public of a way to say this, but it'd be a neat thing to do in our fair city.
It's a good experimental type thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do this. Could you imagine just? I mean, even in the winter, like kale can survive the winter. There's people that eat their kale in January right off the ground.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't grow.
It doesn't grow much, but it stays green. It's small, and you can just. I've had a friend once who just basically was just sort of throwing kale seeds, and they had kale various places, just semi-wild, all around their small little yard in our town.
They mean to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, they wanted to have little patches of kale?
Yeah, they just kind of wanted to have different options and different, sizes of plants. They kind of just wanted to be able to eat like a bowl of kale whenever they want to year round. And last I heard, it was working still.
That's great.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'd be nice to have some way to sort of tie in some of like these survival skills that people are forced to do with helping people that need help.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Well, I think that's a great place to end it.
Okay.
A nice little cliffhanger maybe for our next topic.
Yeah, that sounds good. Right. I think I would be interested in trying some survival skills, and again, that's with all the safety nets. And,
Oh yes, yeah. We have our
privilege.
home. And
yeah, I mean,
maybe we have this camper, and then we go out on a trail, and we can come back to the camper.
Right. You know, with all sorts of gear and good shoes. And
Oh yeah,
stuff.
great shoes, great socks.
Yeah.
A great water source.
The amount of privilege here is
Yes.
just out of control. Yeah. But we can get into that another time.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening in.
Yes.
I would like to thank our executive producer Schmidt, as always.
Yes, and thank you to Mackenzie for popping in and share some words of wisdom.
Yes, great to talk to her.
Yep. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Peace.